Chapter 1: Mysterious Arrival. In a peaceful little town nestled between green hills and gentle streams, life flowed calmly. The townspeople were kind and cheerful, working together each day. However, one morning, a mysterious stranger arrived that changed everything. His name was Count Dracula, a tall man with a presence that caught everyone's attention. He wore a dark, flowing coat that covered his body, and his skin was as pale as the moonlight. People couldn't help but whisper as he passed by. Jonathan, a curious and friendly young man, was the first to approach the new arrival. With a warm smile, he introduced himself. Dracula's deep, resonating voice matched his mysterious aura as they spoke by a crackling fire. Dracula shared that he hailed from a distant land across the seas, and he spoke English with a hint of an accent. He talked about his travels, describing exotic places that filled Jonathan's mind with wonder. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the two bid each other goodnight. Dracula's departure was quiet, almost too swift. The nights in the town were serene, but that evening, an unsettling feeling lingered in the air. Jonathan walked through the cobblestone streets, his heart pounding as he heard the distant howling of wolves. Shadows danced on the ground, and he glimpsed strange movements out of the corner of his eye. Before he knew it, darkness had descended, enveloping the town in a velvety shroud. Nighttime had arrived earlier than expected. As Jonathan neared the inn, he felt a cold breeze brush against his cheek, making him shiver. Jonathan's home for the past few days was Count Dracula's grand castle that stood atop a hill. The castle's ancient stone walls seemed to hold stories of centuries long gone. Dracula had invited him to stay, extending his hospitality. Though Dracula's manners were impeccable and his words polite, his eyes revealed a sharpness that didn't escape Jonathan's notice. Each evening, they dined together in a lavish dining hall. Candles cast a soft glow, flickering in the dim light, while conversations flowed like a gentle stream. Yet one night, as the clock ticked closer to midnight, Jonathan heard a faint sound that drew him away from the warmth of the fire. Following the echo down a corridor, he discovered a hidden door. His curiosity urged him to push it open. Behind the door lay a narrow staircase that descended into darkness. Jonathan hesitated, but his determination to unravel the secrets of the castle spurred him forward. The steps creaked beneath his weight, the sound echoing eerily through the silence. At the bottom of the staircase, he found himself in a chamber unlike any he had seen before. The walls were adorned with elaborate tapestries, and the air was heavy with an unfamiliar scent. In the center of the room, illuminated by a single flickering candle, was a large, ornate coffin. Jonathan's heart raced as he approached, unable to believe his eyes. Fear gripped him, and he stumbled backward, his mind racing with questions. What was Count Dracula hiding? And why did the sight of the coffin fill him with such dread? With the racing heart, Jonathan retraced his steps, his footsteps echoing off the stone walls. As he returned to his room, the events of the night left him unsettled and unable to sleep. The next morning, he vowed to uncover the truth behind the mysterious Count Dracula and the secrets his castle held. Chapter 2: Unveiling Secrets. As the days passed, Jonathan couldn't shake the unsettling discovery he had made in the hidden chamber. He observed Count Dracula closely, looking for any clues that might explain the presence of the coffin. The townspeople spoke highly of Dracula, praising his generosity and intelligence, but Jonathan's unease grew. One evening, while dining with Dracula, Jonathan decided to gently probe into the Count's past. "You've traveled so far," he began cautiously. "Tell me more about your homeland and the history that brought you here." Dracula's lips curled into a small smile, revealing a hint of nostalgia. He spoke of his distant homeland, a place steeped in rich traditions and age-old legends. He shared stories of castles perched on rocky cliffs, surrounded by vast forests where wolves roamed freely. The more Dracula spoke, the more Jonathan's fascination grew. Yet, beneath the tales of grandeur and folklore, he detected a sadness in the Count's eyes. There was a longing, an ache that Dracula seemed to hide behind his charismatic facade. Days turned into weeks, and Jonathan continued to explore the castle, seeking more answers. One afternoon, he stumbled upon a library filled with dusty books that spanned centuries. The shelves held tomes on history, art, and mythology. As he flipped through the pages, his eyes widened at the sight of one particular book titled Vampires, Myths and Reality. He began to read, his heart pounding with a mix of curiosity and dread. The book spoke of creatures that fed on the life force of others, immortal beings cursed to walk the night. The words seemed to mirror the chilling scene he had witnessed in the hidden chamber. Jonathan realized that he was uncovering a secret far darker than he had imagined. Could it be that Count Dracula was not what he appeared to be? He grappled with the conflicting emotions of fear and disbelief. Could the legends of vampires be more than mere tales told around campfires? One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Jonathan decided to confront Count Dracula. They stood in the grand hall, surrounded by the castle's opulent decor. Jonathan's voice trembled as he voiced his suspicions. "Count Dracula, there's something I must ask you. I found a coffin in a hidden chamber. Is there any truth to the stories about vampires?" The room fell silent, and for a moment, Jonathan feared he had crossed a line. But to his surprise, Dracula's expression softened. "Jonathan," he began, his voice carrying a weight of centuries, "there are many stories in this world, some grounded in reality, others spun from fear and imagination." Dracula went on to reveal his true nature, sharing his existence as a creature born of darkness and night. He explained that he did not seek to harm the townspeople, but rather sought solitude to protect them from the truth of his nature. His loneliness was a burden he carried, and the hidden chamber held the resting place he retreated to during the daylight hours. Jonathan listened with a mix of awe and compassion. The Count's tale was one of sorrow and isolation, a life forever shrouded in darkness. He had witnessed centuries pass, civilizations rise and fall, yet he remained a prisoner of his own existence. As the moon cast its silvery glow over the castle, Jonathan found himself torn between the fear of the unknown and the empathy he felt for Dracula. He had uncovered a secret that challenged everything he knew, and he realized that the line between myth and reality was blurrier than he had ever imagined. With newfound understanding, Jonathan and Dracula forged an unlikely bond, built upon shared secrets and a desire for connection. As they navigated their complex relationship, they would soon find themselves entangled in a web of danger and intrigue, where the past and present collided in unexpected ways. Chapter 3: Shadows of the Past. As Jonathan and Count Dracula grew closer, a sense of camaraderie developed between them. Dracula's isolated existence had kept him guarded, but Jonathan's open heart allowed a flicker of light to pierce the darkness that surrounded him. Their conversations turned from cautious inquiries to heartfelt confessions, and an unlikely friendship blossomed. One evening, as they strolled through the castle's moonlit courtyard, Dracula shared the story of his transformation. He spoke of a lost love from centuries ago, a woman whose beauty and spirit had captured his heart. The pain of their separation had plunged him into a world of darkness, forever altering his fate. As Jonathan listened to the tale, he saw a vulnerability in Dracula that he had not witnessed before. The Count's eyes held a deep sadness, a reminder of the humanity that lingered beneath his supernatural veneer. Jonathan realized that despite the mysteries that surrounded him, Dracula was a creature of complex emotions, haunted by his past. Their friendship faced a new challenge when news arrived of a sickness spreading through the town. People grew weak and pale, their energy drained. Fear gripped the community as they whispered about a mysterious force sucking the life from them. Jonathan's heart raced as he realized the truth: the town was falling victim to the very legend he had uncovered. Desperation filled the air as townspeople sought refuge in their homes, fearful of the night. Jonathan knew that he had to find a way to save his friends and neighbors, but he couldn't ignore the connection he had forged with Dracula. Jonathan confronted Dracula with the news, his voice a mix of urgency and concern. "Count, the town is in danger. We must find a way to stop this sickness, to save them." Dracula's eyes reflected a conflicted turmoil. "It is the nature of my kind," he said, his voice heavy with regret. "But I did not wish harm upon them. There might be a way to undo this curse, but it comes with great sacrifice." Together, Jonathan and Dracula devised a plan. They would journey to the distant land of Dracula's origin, seeking an ancient spell that could break the curse. The journey was treacherous, filled with perilous encounters and the shadows of a past that refused to fade. Through trials and tests of their friendship, Jonathan and Dracula persevered. They encountered ancient beings who shared their wisdom, and they faced the darkness within themselves. As they delved deeper into the heart of the curse, they uncovered secrets that had remained buried for centuries. In the end, it was Jonathan's unwavering belief in the power of friendship that shattered the curse's hold. He sacrificed his own vitality to save the town, offering a piece of his life force to counteract the darkness. The sacrifice triggered a chain reaction, breaking the curse and returning vitality to the sick. As the dawn broke over the town, its people emerged from their homes, weak but alive. Jonathan stood with Dracula, his strength diminished but his spirit unbroken. The town's gratitude was a testament to the power of unity, to the bonds that formed even in the most unlikely of circumstances. With the curse broken, Dracula made a choice. He chose to leave the town, to embrace the solitude he had sought for so long. He knew that his existence would forever be a shadow, but he had witnessed the beauty that could emerge from the darkness. Jonathan watched as Dracula disappeared into the horizon, his presence fading like a wisp of mist. The townspeople would remember the stranger who had arrived and left, a creature of both legend and reality. And so, the tale of Jonathan and Count Dracula became a story whispered through generations, a story of friendship that bridged the gap between light and darkness. Proving that even in the face of the supernatural, humanity's capacity for compassion and understanding would always prevail.